Hello and welcome to the International Pentagon Challenge. My name is Kyanite and together we'll be embarking on a very special Football Manager journey where we'll aim to try and win every major international competition in all 5 continents, forcing our hand to play with hundreds of different types of players and most importantly hopefully create loads of awesome different types of tactics along the way. Once that's complete, only then are we allowed to set our sights on the biggest of all goals, the FIFA World Cup. How many nations will we have to manage until we work our way to the top? How many dodgy names will we have to pronounce along the way? So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hopefully we're going to have a lot of fun along the way. I know what I want, I say what I want, and no one can take it away. No, I'm not losing my mind. That's obviously the chorus to Journeyman by Iron Maiden. And I am pleased to say that I am going to be seeing them in Manchester later on this year, which is going to be awesome. And obviously because the song is kind of called Journeyman, it kind of just felt like it belonged at the start of this second episode of our International Pentagon Challenge Journeyman style save. If you're going to watch Iron Maiden as well and you want to meet up, just hit me up on Twitter. That'll be pretty cool. You never know, we might even play FM Touch together. No, we're not playing FM Touch together. Right, okay, so episode number 2. I've not got a job yet, but those of you who follow me on Twitter, and if you don't follow me on Twitter, then what's wrong with you? You should be following me on Twitter. Will know that I have been offered a few jobs. But, as you can see, since the last episode, we've kind of advanced a year. So let's just try and refresh our minds with what on earth is going on. So obviously, as you'd probably expect, Germany won the World Cup. I think what's even more impressive is the fact that Italy made it into the final. Obviously, in real life, Italy failed to qualify. That's obviously something that hasn't quite been implemented in the game. As far as the third place playoff was concerned, Mexico beat Argentina 3-2, Germany beat Argentina 3-1 in the first semi-final, and Italy, of course, beat Mexico 2-0 in the other semi-final. As far as England are concerned, wow, Spain got completely hammered 5-0 by Argentina. England actually lost in the quarterfinals 1-0 to Mexico. Irving Lozano was the man who grabbed the goal in the 35th minute, and even though England probably had the better of the stats and Mexico were really down to 10 men for over a good 20 minutes of the length of the game, England, unsurprisingly, didn't quite have it in them to get into the final, into the semi-finals of the World Cup. So unfortunate for them. But on that note, let's see who's actually offered us a job. So Germany are the current World Cup champions, and as we can see, I've actually been offered a few under-23 managerial roles. Now, a few years ago, probably FM13, I kind of did a similar save or similar concept to this, where the idea is to only manage international teams, start with a Sunday League reputation, and we just basically build our way up till we eventually win the World Cup. This is a little bit harder because we want to also, we've turned it into a Pentagon challenge, so we want to also win every continental competition as well before worrying about the World Cup. But it does seem like in 2018 it's a little bit harder to get an international football management job, and to be honest, I don't think I can complain about that. It's just the game becoming more realistic than it maybe was in the past. So as we can see, I have been offered some under-23 roles. Benin have offered me a job, Burkina Faso, Guinea, Sudan, Congo, and of course, neighbouring country, DR Congo, the Democratic Republic of Congo. And obviously I've not accepted a role just yet, but just to quickly take a look at the sides, I think naturally, if we are going to try and build our way up to the point where we have enough of a rep, and by rep I obviously mean reputation, to manage a proper international team, we're going to have to try and succeed, right, as much as possible within whatever under-23 role we go for. So in this case, I feel like naturally it makes sense to go with the country that produces the better footballers, because obviously better footballers, higher chance we're probably going to win some silverware. So Benin, 83rd in the world. Mounier, Sessegnon, Rudi Gestede. Probably their three better players. We've also got Burkina Faso, Bertrand Traore, Charles Kabore, Bakary Kone. Guinea as well in 55th. Naby Keita, currently playing for Liverpool. Obviously not in real life, but in the save. Amadou Diawara, Ibrahima Conte. Also got offered the Sudan role, which, to be honest, 123rd. I mean, I'd totally take the national Sudanese job. I think that would be a really, really cool challenge. But the under-23s job is kind of hard, really, because they're not going to produce that much talent, and I think it says it all when we've not even heard of their top three players. Congo, of course, 73rd in the world. Thievi Bufuma, Dylan Batubinska and Zon Delage, they're three better players. To be fair, not really heard of them. And then DR Congo, the Democratic Republic of Congo, which is really the job opportunity that I have to admit stood out to me. Cedric Bakambu, Yusuf Malumbu, Chadrak Okolo, Chance Mbemba. You know, these are some real good players. And if you look at the national team as a whole, you got players like Kakuta, Asombalonga. These are players, you know, that play for some decent clubs. Chibola for Villa as well. And if you ask me, out of all these countries, the Democratic Republic of Congo probably produces the better players. So there we go then. Phoebe Whitehead, my personal assistant, will accept the job for me. 9th of September 2018. And there we go. A welcome from assistant manager Mandanda. Jean Mandanda, I think is how you pronounce it. New regen face. Like, one thing that really annoyed me was that I applied for some actual international jobs and regen managers got offered the job over me. Like, it just seemed really lame. I'm not sure whether or not we're going to actually keep him as our assistant manager, but the fact of the matter is, given that we're currently an under-23 manager, we're probably going to struggle to bring anyone else in. And to be fair to Jean, he does have some decent knowledge in the area, so that's pretty important for us. And it probably helps that he can probably speak the language. He's fluent in French and he can speak basic Lingala. So, yeah, we'll have to see whether or not we can maybe form a nice partnership with the lad and maybe take him to our next job. But, yeah, let's take a look at some of the players at our disposal. So coming into our national pool straight away. Now, obviously, you can still add and remove players from your national pool. So as, obviously, I look at this in more depth and our scouts kind of do a bit more work, we should maybe become more familiar with potential players who are eligible to play for the Democratic Republic of Congo. I think that's going to piss me off if I keep trying to say Democratic Republic of Congo every time, so I'm just going to call them COD. It might make you hungry, but we're going to call them COD. So obviously, the more regens come out that will obviously be eligible for the under-23s, the more eligible players for COD our scouts find, the more likely they are to be added to our national pool, which will then make them available for selection for me for the under-23s. So, eligibility, under-23s on the right-hand side, and straight away, if we sort by value, we can take a look at some of our better players. So we have Chadrak Okolo, Congolese, of course, and he looks like a decent player. I mean, if he's valued at 13.5 million quid, he's on 30k a week. Obviously, he's 23 years old, so he probably won't be eligible for long, but I'll figure out how long we might have him for later on, because I'm obviously not going to go into too much detail and fix tactics and stuff. I want to try and keep this episode nice and short, but he looks like a very good player. Now, I don't want to kind of sound funny, but chances are we're going to have pretty fast players for obvious reasons, so we might look to play a bit more of a counter-attacking approach. We'll have to wait and see. We also have Luke Bacchio, plays on the right and up front, left only footed, so unless we go with an inside forward out on the right hand side, probably not ideal. Probably want him playing up front. Not too bad height wise, but really seems incredibly fast. Decent crossing potentially as well, and obviously plays for Anderlecht, which is quite a good standard. Only 20 years old as well, so looking towards the next few years, I'd say one of the main issues right now for us is that, like, he is actually capped for the main international side. So players, even though he's 20 years old, players who play regularly in the main international side, we might struggle to really bring on board for the under-23 side. But hey, we can try. Shibola obviously is eligible, plays for Aston Villa, but obviously he is a part of the main side. Next up, Meshak Elia, 21 years of age, plays for Mazembe, who are actually in the top COD league, which is okay. That's quite interesting. Obviously still need to scout some of these players, but already we do see that we do have some talented players on hand. Jordi Huwula looks like a decent player. Any Oldham fans watching that know something about this guy, let me know how he is. In fact, it looks like at the moment he probably plays for Fleetwood rather than Oldham. But, you know, it's a player who he must be half English or something along them lines. He is half English, born and bred in Manchester, so he's certainly going to give us something up front. And like I said, I think all the players we've seen so far, what they have in common is the fact that even though we don't have a full scout report on them, I think we're going to have physically better players than technically better players, which is kind of obvious given that we are going to be managing players from Congo. So, like I said, tactically thinking, I still need to analyse in detail what types of players we'll have. And as far as I'm concerned in terms of, you know, how we're going to approach things tactically, I'm obviously going to try and set us up in such a way that I feel like we'll be able to utilise our strengths as much as possible. At the moment, when you've got players as fast as some of these lot, depending on how good our centre-backs are, and normally African centre-backs tend to be pretty good, it might be worth maybe playing 3 at the back with wing-backs and maybe 2 up front playing off each other and a shadow striker maybe where they can utilise their pace, or maybe wingers. We'll have to really wait and see. It's difficult to really jump to conclusions at the moment, but what we do know for sure is that we have pace, and obviously if we have the odd creative midfielder or 2, that'll also dictate whether we play with 2 in the middle of the park or 3, or maybe play with wingers or inside forwards. But I think that's going to be it for this episode. I didn't want to really keep it too long. If anyone knows any decent young players who are eligible to play for COD, let me know, but I am really looking forward to this. Realistically speaking, I don't want to stick around here for too long. The worst opinion of me is Sean Dyche because I'm a Blackburn fan, but to be honest, I couldn't care less, Sean. And that's going to be it for this episode. Next episode, I'll be back. We'll take a look at the tactical approach that I've taken, and we'll also take a look at the kind of main squad of players that I'm going to consider my main squad for the moment before the main squad probably poaches them from me. So we're going to have pretty good foresight in that regards. But if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I know it's going to be a little bit slow at the start, but trust me, once the games start flowing, well, we don't really have any fixtures at the moment. We're doing 2019, and it is going to be the African Under-23 Championship qualifiers. So once the games start flowing in around 6 months' time, I'm sure we're going to have loads and loads of fun managing the Democratic Republic of Congo under-23s. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.